Hi, I'm Susan Oppelt, and I'm the creative storyteller and artist behind Trap the Elf. For as long as I can remember, I'd wanted to be an artist. I believe it started about the time I was 6 years old, and I was lucky enough to have my first mentor, Mr. Heiser, who I owe a great deal to, follow me through elementary, middle, and high school years. Well, it just so happens that his career path kind of followed my educational path. And I was lucky enough to have him recognize that I had some kind of talent and recommend that I attend summer and weekend art classes in Philadelphia at Moore College of Art and Design. Over the last 20 years, I've enjoyed a vast professional career as a creative, starting out in print design and moving into advertising and then into interaction during the dot-com boom days, and then after that into product design. And my time's been spent at both agency and client-side endeavors, at small boutique agencies and very large entities such as Razorfish, Comcast, Yahoo, to name a few. And that all leads me to where I am today. And Trap the Elf is my first attempt as an indie self-publisher for digital books. And it's a story that's fairly dear to my heart that I wanted to bring to a larger audience. It's roughly based on one of my favorite memories as a child growing up in New Jersey. And my sisters and I had this tribe called the Fern People tribe. Now my sister would come in the back door giggling, squealing, and laughing to alert the Fern People tribe that she'd seen an elf, aka Leprechaun, scurry across our backyard. Now this would happen any time of year, be that spring, summer, fall, winter in New Jersey. So my father, who's Irish, my maiden name is Sullivan, really enjoyed the notion that my sisters and I, underneath the guise of the Fern People tribe, had this kind of ongoing tale throughout all seasons, and it wasn't something that we just kind of thought about once a year during St. Patrick's Day. Now the one thing that's interesting is that we never did build a trap to try and catch this elf, my sisters and I. And when I was relaying this story to my son, trying to excite his imagination and have him thinking about our garden, he started to ask all of these questions, such as what does he look like and how big is he, and would he be able to find him in the snow in Tahoe or perhaps in Hawaii? And I started to answer these questions in a very fantastical way. He also said, "Mommy, can we build a trap? Can we trap the elf?" And my response was, "Of course. Let's build the trap together." Trap the Elf considers what magical good luck elfin might look and act like, where one might find them, and how to build a trap any time of year. It also tells the tale of what happens should you be so lucky to trap one. My goal with Trap the Elf was to explore the digital space for housing the story, and my hope is that for children on the younger end, that the parent and child read together and the child interacts with the story, there's audio that adds an atmospheric kind of tone and ambiance and feeling to the imagery. The other goal was to move children off of the digital space. I love technology, iPads, iPhones, all of that, have done a lot of product design around that. However, there's something to creating something from scratch on your own, in your own space, in your own real world. And I wanted children to do something that was creative and artistic as a result of the story. So while there's a schematic and a proposal for what this trap might look like, there's kind of a baseline trap as well as one that might be specific to a season. Of course, it's up to the child to push it as far as they want to go. That's what we want them to do, right, is to push their imagination. For some time, I considered what the characters might look like in Trap the Elf. And I was really trying to figure out what type of illustration style I wanted to use. I work in a variety of mediums, so anywhere from oil to acrylic to Dr. Martin dyes, just pencil sketch, and of course digital or computer sketching. And what I kept coming back to was a 3D dimensional character. And I saw these 3D characters living in a very magical fantasy world that was kind of semi-realistic. And when I was thinking about, well, how am I going to create this 3D character? That's not something I've done a lot of beyond playing with clay with my son. I started to look at felt needle pointing. Now, felting isn't something that I've tried before, but I kept seeing the dimensionality, the texture, and the rawness on the material. So I watched a few YouTube videos just to understand what are the materials and how is it put together, and then decided to take a trek to my local wool or knitting supply store to see if they had materials. They had a few remnants, and I purchased those and just started playing with them. To my surprise, characters that I had sketched started emerging out of the wool, and it was really exciting because it's not something I'd ever worked with him before, and I really liked manipulating the wool. From there, I fused the characters and photos of the characters, sometimes on their own or sometimes within an environment, with other environmental landscape photography from all over the place. Wherever we might go, I sometimes take the characters and shoot them right in place, and other times I just shoot the landscapes themselves and place the characters in afterwards. But I created these magical worlds so that they felt as though they could potentially be real, and that children could imagine this little elf or other characters in the story kind of traipsing about our world. Beyond this first digital release for Trap the Elf, I do have a long laundry list of items that I'd like to get to next. And those include looking at reformatting for other digital devices, Spanish, physical book design, as well as physical product design, such as creating an official Trap the Elf do-it-yourself activity kit, including a figurine of our hero, the elf. And outside of that, there are many ideas, including some of the kind of sub-characters and their storylines or books that would be primarily about them. But as I'm a one-man band, I need to take things as they come and just work through my releases slowly. So I'm hoping that as time goes on, I can build an audience and also demand for certain types of avenues, and that'll help me kind of define what my roadmap should be. For the latest news, inspiration, and product release updates, you can find me, Susan Oppelt of LUMIN Studio, at www.luminstudio.com. You can also follow me socially on Twitter at LUMIN Studio or on Facebook at hello.luminstudio. Please download Trap the Elf, available now in the iBook store, and enjoy a little magic today with your little one.